Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Nikki. If you're new here, I have a only child in the 3rd grade. And today I want to talk to you about the good and the beautiful, if it's working, if it's not working, and why it is or it isn't. So if that is something that interests you, keep watching. All right, so we decided to go with the good and the beautiful about a month-ish into our school year after BJU English 3. It did not work out for us. My daughter requested this change and we ended up implementing it, and I wanted to try it because I was skeptical because we had done the good and the beautiful for the last 3 years, and as it worked, it was starting to get boring and not a good fit for her, as I think she was just outgrowing it at some point. But she requested it back after BJU not working, so we went with it. I printed out the free PDF because I wasn't sure if it was going to work, and I didn't want to spend money if I didn't have to, especially if the curriculum wasn't going to work for her. So we are about, how many lessons are in, are we? So we just completed lesson 35. So we are 35 lessons in, and I feel like that's a good chunk to be able to give you my thoughts. Are we still continuing with the good and the beautiful level 3 language arts? Yes. I don't love it, but I do like it, and I'm going to tell you why. So the first thing that I don't like is all these spelling rules. Holy crap, no one's going to remember that. I get that there's a purpose and kids should use that to learn spelling. But if you have a natural speller, they're just confusing, especially if you have a person who reads and reads and reads and reads. They're gaining their spelling from reading. And you're never going to just think of a spelling rule randomly when you have a word that you want to figure out how to read. At least that was never the case for me growing up. So we tend to skip that, or instead of like even teaching the rule, I just first ask her if she knows how to spell it. If she spells it correctly, we move on. If she doesn't, then I tell her a way she can figure out or decipher it by using the spelling rule, which I know she's never going to remember. So for me, it's more about memorization for some of these things than it is learning the rules, because the rules are crap, because not the English language is crap. So anyway, I don't love that. But I do think there are some really great things about it. So they're diving a little bit more, I believe, into grammar this year. And they're talking about possessive nouns and different types of verbs. Let's see what else we learn. The past, present, future tenses, and prefixes, suffixes, synonyms, and all of those things that, adjectives. And then it's throwing in poetry, and it's throwing in art, which she really loves. And then it's throwing in a little bit of writing into how to write summaries. What was the other thing we did? So the whole like first unit was like on, I forget what they focused it on, like a country or something, or different countries that they were doing in the geography portion, which I really appreciated as well. And she really enjoyed the geography as well. But the art, the way the writing goes with it is great, because it's not just like, it's throwing this like information at you, and then it's not just like, okay, here, do it. It's giving the child options. It's cutting out like 4 boxes and placing them in order, or it's cutting out 2 boxes and figuring out what to write in the 3rd box. So you're not writing all of it, you're just writing a portion of it. And that is really helpful, because I have a reluctant writer. And I wouldn't say she's a reluctant writer normally, but she's a reluctant writer when it comes to school. She writes her own stories on her own, but we're trying to learn how to do it properly. So she's learning to write summaries and what a summary is. And it's having her compare, is this a summary or is this not, and why? And then it's having her, I think it even had her dabble into different types of poems and poetry. They don't have a writing one, but they had like patterns and poetry and stuff like that. So they call them these like essay workshops that are like the writing one. So it talks about dictionaries at one point. Then it has literature studies thrown in, so it'll throw a story in and it'll have comprehension. We're also reading the book that goes along with it, which is Kingdom of Kind. So we're about 5 or 6 chapters into that book, and we're really liking the stories that go along with it. We wrapped up and finished Timothy of the 10th Floor, and we really enjoyed that. That took us about, I don't know, we just started Kingdom of Kind like 5 lessons ago. So like 30 lessons was Timothy of the 10th Floor. It does integrate the book into some of the lessons. Like some of the writing lessons had questions about what was happening in the book. But it was also like very general. So that if you weren't reading the book, you could still understand the question from what I remember. I could be wrong, so don't like quote me here. So we are moving on to Unit 2. Sorry, I have the table of contents here to help me out. So Unit 2, we're working on commas in a series. So that's also nice because it's giving you examples and it's showing you where the commas are going. And then it wants you to like point them out in the series of sentences instead of just like, I mean, I don't know how you would do it, but it's making it easy for her to understand, and I appreciate that. We just wrapped up possessive nouns, and we're going to move into some more poetry and more of writing summaries in the next few lessons. So it's so much, right? Like it's not just one simple thing, but it's including so much. And even though we are dabbling into writing, she's really not writing a whole lot with them. Like, for instance, today's lesson had journal writing, which this is backwards because I have my camera switched around. But she didn't write a whole lot, but that's okay. It was just like, well, she didn't do it right, actually. It did say to use complete sentences and commas in a series, and she literally just wrote the answer, but we were in a mood today, so I was not pressing it. She knows how to do it. I'm not worried about her, like, not understanding. And then it had a reading comprehension page. So she had to read the story and then check which one of these was correct. Or it says which summary is well written below. So that was the extent of the lesson and learning about possessive nouns. So honestly, it's going really well. I don't plan to take it out. It's not the most perfect thing, and I cringe every time like we do it just because I was kind of overdoing the good and the beautiful, but we're back and I don't see it going away. Next year, I think we'll do it as well because there won't be like really phonics or any of those things anymore, which is kind of the only part that we don't care for because she's a good reader. And so she doesn't really need the phonics anymore or the spelling rules because she's a really good speller. We do branch out and add on to our language arts because the way I did describe it is that it was small of the amount of stuff that she like had to focus on in the writing sections. So we are doing Winning with Writing as well, which is from Jack Chris Publishing. And that is 1 page a day. And it's not what you think. Like, I did a whole video on it. I can link it either up here or it'll be down in the description box. So you can check out that video. I did a whole flip through and like everything about that curriculum. So I pair that with the good and the beautiful, and then she does have her own spelling book because I don't use the spelling book in the language arts curriculum. So It's basically like our core. And please, like, remember to use curriculum as a tool. Like, you do not have to use everything within a curriculum. And I know it's like really difficult for me, being this type A person, to just like skip stuff. But it's easier for me to take it as I need it and then branch out and do other things. We also, on top of the reading, we do have a reading curriculum. Like, we're still using Moss Doss and reading 1 story a week. So I have other components. It's not just the Good and Beautiful, because we can be done with a lesson in Good and Beautiful in like 15 minutes. And then if you add in like 20 minutes of math and we're done, like, I'm like, we need something here. We are enjoying it. I'm glad I brought it back, even though I didn't think I would be happy. I did. But we are appreciating the videos that are incorporated in the lessons. Sometimes they're repetitive and easy, and she just tells me to stop the video. She understands, and we do that. So use the curriculum as you need it. If you don't like the geography, take the geography page out. If you don't like the writing and you're doing something else for writing, take the writing page out. Use it to how you want or need your curriculum to be for your family. And the bonus is the PDF is free. You can support the company and buy the actual book set, but because I was so hesitant in going back, that's why I didn't do that. But I did purchase the reading books. So the reading books are great. In the book, they have, where in orange here is where the teacher reads, teacher parent. And then the blue is the students, which, as you can see, the font is spaced out, it's bigger. And then in this section where the parent reads, it's smaller and smushed together. It does have great pictures. And then there's a kind of like words to read. And then sometimes there's vocabulary at the bottom. So it'll be, the thing that weirds me out though is that they'll have vocabulary, but it won't be like, there'll be another word in the book that I'm like, well, why didn't they have that word as a vocabulary word? So I feel like there could be more vocabulary thrown in there other than just like one in a chapter. And sometimes there's none to a chapter. But it just talks about some phonics, which I just have her read the words. Sometimes she needs help, and it can help her through it because it sometimes breaks the words down, or it tells you like Y can make the short I sound, as in sit, in the middle of a word, like gymnast or bicycle. So sometimes that's helpful, but like, I mean, we do it. I don't make her do it, but she wants to do it, so we do it. So yeah, that is my update. We are using it. I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. And we're going to continue it throughout the entirety of our 3rd grade year. So that completes the video. Let me know, have you tried out the new language arts from The Good and the Beautiful? Do you love it? Do you hate it? What do you use? Do you use it as a tool? Let me know in the comments. And I will catch you in my next video. Bye.